Well, we are now live on air. Welcome, everybody. Sorry for this major delay, but it happens when real life interferes with virtual life, unfortunately. Thank you for everybody joining us here and now. And we're going to do this flight that was scheduled for earlier today. We're going to fly from Genoa to Stansted. And here we go. I'm busy doing the planning and everything for the flight here behind the scenes. I'm just going to link you in there. We are on FS Cloud. If any of you want to fly with, you're welcome to join us. Okay, so we've determined flight level 380 has the most favorable winds, and then I just need to check up on the packs and the load. It's not many packs I saw earlier. It's 119 or something. So we'll be light. 119 and 1.7. On the cargo, there we go. Let us generate this plan. Right, so we are expecting runway 22. We can actually just quickly refresh this as well and just make sure that DAF tells the same story. 210 at 16 knots according to the DAF. Yeah, so we'll stick to runway 22. And we're going to use runway 10 for takeoff. Go out over the bay, turn out, and join our flight. Righto. Let's grab our Ryanair smart cars. Alright, I'm back. My daughter just came to ask me a question. So amazing. Every time I think I'm going to stream, there's always the one or two questions. Yeah, hopefully one day she'll have a love for flying, but I think her mom made her too scared for flying. And our 20 minutes starts now. That's an interesting little hairpin turn over there. I love this approach. I can do this. That's easy. That hairpin thing is kind of weird. Christer, you're welcome. I've just noticed your message there. Awesome. It's almost a cook sister turn, for sure, for sure. Right, while we are waiting for the fuel to be loaded and things to happen, let's quickly grab our little nav map and quickly create this flight plan little nav map as well. So for those of you that are not aware and familiar with this, I'm just going to run through it again. We'll just create a new flight plan. We're going to go to the new flight plan over there, paste what we have from our OFP. So we've got the airport, the actual flight including SIDS and stars, and then the airport on the other side. Then we're going to read it. We're going to create the flight plan. And we said we're flying 380. Now the top of climb and top of descent is not perfect in my little nav map. You can actually enter the performance parameters of the Zibo and get it spot on, but I've never had the desire to do it, so I haven't done it. Anyway, so that is our flight plan, and the idea now is to zoom into an acceptable level so we can basically take a screenshot. That's about what it comes down to in layman's terms. Alright, so and then what we're going to do is we're going to say File and save the map as image for Avitab and just click on OK. This brings up the actual Metacore folder inside of Avitab and we're going to save it. So if we go to Avitab and to the map, menu, Metacore, and we can actually load it. There you go. Now you've got your flight plan on your moving map. Hello, Captain Eric. Right, so there we are. Alright. So there's that. Right, so instead of using the OFP weather, I'm going to use the current weather, because that can be up to half an hour or an hour old now. So let's have a look. See, average winds will be 254 at 15, and the average temperature is going to be minus 35.45. Helps if I put it in the right place first. Minus 35. Don't know if we can put a 0.5. Let's just leave it as that. Okay. Doesn't look right. Okay, because if we look at the OFP, plus 2 ISA deviation. That's the outside temperature. That's a bit low. Not low enough. Too high, I must say. Right, we'll stick to that one, but we'll use those winds then. Okay. Oops. We'll come back for that. Check this loading. Good enough for what we need. Right, so that takes care of that. We've got 10 minutes to kill.
Captain Hatcher on the fasten seatbelt sign. We do ask that all passengers take your seat at this time and please fasten your seatbelt. Just as a reminder, we cannot leave the gate until carrying items are properly put away. All overhead bins are closed and all passengers are seated.
Right, while we wait, let's set up the rest of our charts. Not that.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello and welcome.
For the late coming, I've been so frustrated with my energy supplier. You know, a lot has been going on. I had no electricity, you know, since morning. So only to realize I don't even know this kind of like energy supplier called BANVA. They took over my energy supply without my consent.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'd run out of like electricity, and I was wondering what's going on. So since morning, I wanted to actually do some couple flights.
Okay.
So I'll get on them on Monday.
Ah.
Yep. Right. So what's new? What's going on?
Well, we're gonna fly from Genoa to Stansted.
Okay. Are you guys already set up or?
Busy setting up now. You've got like 10 minutes before I'll be ready to go, so you're welcome to try join us if you want.
Right, if you can drop us the flight details in the group chat, then I'll try and see what I can do, get the scenery, and maybe I'm going to be the last one anyway.
That's fine. We're a couple of guys here. So I'm going to drop it into group flight if I can find that channel.
It's long enough flight anyway, so
Yeah,
a lot of time to chat and have fun.
yeah, of course. There you go.
How much fuel do you carry?
Or whatever SimBrief tells you.
Oh, hello, Jordan. It's been a while.
Yeah. Hey, Lloyd.
I think I haven't heard of you from like weeks now. I think because because of the different time zone.
Yeah, feels like that, but it hasn't been that long, funny enough.
Yeah.
I'm doing my first cross the pond flight today.
Oh, across the
Are you on
pond.
the yet?
Yeah, I won't be able to join you guys for this flight, but maybe the next one.
That's not
No
a
problem.
good excuse. That's really a pathetic excuse, Jordan. I don't find it acceptable.
Ah!
Yeah, you're okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. Yes.
That's one thing I like about Nico.
Hmm?
He'll just tell you, okay, don't worry about it. But in the back of his end, he'll be saying, I'll get you next time. Make sure you
Nah.
don't mess with Nico.
Yeah, no, I'm not that kind of person, really. Yeah, you know what? I've been hunted for real in my life many times by absolute rubbish people, and it's not in my makeup to have any of that stories in me. Nah. You don't like me, you don't like me. I can't change it. I'm not gonna beg for you to like me. I'm not gonna lick your ass to do something for me or with me. Nah. I make it as nice and comfortable as I can. The guys who join, join. The guys who don't, don't.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Now, inevitably, if you start either begging people to join you or threatening people to join you, you've lost the plot. Then you shouldn't be there. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's true.
Genoa was Mike Golf, right? Lima India Mike Golf.
Lima, India, Mike, Juliet.
Mike Juliet. Sorry.
Yes. Look in group flight. I've just put it there. Shame. Owen says he's got problems. His FS Cloud keeps on bombing his system, but his grandchild just arrived, so he's not flying with.
That's too bad.
Right, where are we? Okay, I can start my APU, gents.
What gate you are on?
404, I think. 404 or 405. Let's have a look. 404.
Okay, I'm coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, welcome aboard our flight today.
Hey, Captain, let me know where you want this thing.
I'm coming to 407.
Great news, Captain. Your tow's coming.
Okay.
Flight attendants prepare for departure. Cross-check and all call, thank you.
All right. Looks like the doors and hatches are closed and we're ready to connect.
All right, we've got everyone strapped in. Give us a ring if you need anything.
Welcome aboard, Captain. Tow's connected, bypass pins inserted. Go and kill the parking brake when you're ready to go.
Javier, man, there you go. There's the scenery, my man. Thank you so much for your support and getting that. There you go. All loaded. Awesome, Krister. Right, guys, I'm ready to push. If you guys are going to allow me, I'd like to start.
Go. I don't need a push, I'll just go straight out.
Here comes the pushback. Light them up.
Giuliano.
Yes, Anthony.
Yeah, I just noted you on my left front.
So Nico, have you fixed your crashing issues with FS Cloud?
No, I don't think it's something that I can fix. I removed the FS Cloud from the beta, from beta 16, and no crashes.
All right, okay.
Spawning Salmon, good morning, good morning.
Can you see me? I cannot see anybody again.
You are Windy, right?
Windy, that's
Captain Paul?
Giuliano.
Oh, sorry, Windy is Giuliano. Yeah, sorry, my mistake.
Oh, you are pushing back. I've seen you. You are pushing back now. Heading towards mountains. Is that you, Nico?
Yeah.
Just completed pushback. Yeah, almost.
Yep.
Okay, I'm following
Just
you.
about done here. Go ahead and set your parking brake. And we're
I
disconnecting.
can only
so
see
give me just
Juliana
a
and
moment.
Anthony. I cannot see anybody else here.
Oh, I stay, Nico, but I no fly. I'm only looking.
Okay, okay.
Only looking your departure.
Eight tons fuel.
And we're disconnected. Signal and pin on the right. Take it easy and have a safe flight.
We have Captain Kirk from Starship Enterprise here as well.
Yeah, he was with us last night as well.
James Tiberius Kirk.
That's him.
Nico, I've got a generous request. I know it's going to be put on board and be reviewed and see whether it's going to be accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I don't know. I was just thinking, like, let's say we're going to do a group flight tomorrow. Then can you give us, like, you know, the departure and arrival carcass? Then we can
Plan.
pre-plan, download the scenery and prepare everything. Then, you know, when the day arrives, then we just get and go.
No, of course, of course. The only reason you don't have it or did not have it before is because you didn't look at my YouTube page. But look, we usually in the old days only did the group flights on VATSIM, so it was like this big event every time. But lately with FS Cloud, every flight of mine seems to be a group flight. You see, so it's kind of missing the flair of the old days where it was like a big planned thing. Okay, so I'll just try and send it to you off just sooner. I'll put it here in group flight, so just keep an eye out on that group flight chat.
I would appreciate. Thank you very much. Because sometimes I don't know why. I've got you on YouTube, like activated, like all the notifications, live notifications, but sometimes they pop up later, and you're already in flight. So I don't know why.
They always pop up late for me as well, by about half an hour, 40 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it would be best if you put them like in the Discord group flight, then we know what's going on.
What's your flight level, Nico?
380.
Roger.
Steve Mitchell, hello. Yes, sir, that is all in the works. It is public knowledge that there is work being done on the 700 and the 900, but we have a couple of surprises additional to that for you. We are just not allowed to speak about it because of actual NDAs and, you know, the honor amongst us and the respect we have for each other just doesn't allow us to really share too much at this point in time. Just keep your eyes on this channel. I will be one of the first people to reveal, you know, some of the new things. So apart from the actual publishers, you'll get the news here.
Well, this is news to me. I haven't heard about anything new coming out.
No, well, the 700 and 900 is actually old. But there's stories and stories and stories, and it has been mentioned publicly that work is being done on the 700 and the 900, so that's why I'm allowed to talk about it, but I can't tell you more than that.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nico.
No worries. Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna be busy as heck. We're gonna have a lot of streams. Oh, so many. So much
Oh,
fun.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Better Pushback disappeared again. I can understand.
I think you need to pay them more. Maybe you're not paying them enough. Sorry?
I'm ready for engine startup.
Okay, go for it.
Better
Go for
Pushback
it.
back working, so I'm gonna turn and follow you.
Alright, well, I'm going. Actually, exit over here, why not? Anyway, coming back to you, spawning salmon. As you saw, my hands were a bit busy here. And also hamster. Thank you for the follow there. Nice to see you guys. I'm glad you can watch some of the live action. Swifty, yeah, all good, all good. We are just preparing to leave. Ooh, I see why I shouldn't have done this. I should have turned right. I missed the taxiway. Oh well, anyway, I'm just going to use the runway to quickly taxi
approaching
into position. I was concentrating on the chat now and I completely missed my turn off there.
On runway 28.
Excellent. Well, welcome. Good to know that you are okay. And thanks for visiting us here today.
There is one South African livery. Who is that?
When you see South African livery, that's Anthony.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's AA.
Yeah. I forgot it was him.
Springboks, wasn't it? Their call sign.
Yes. Yep. There he is. Here we go. There I can see you now, Captain Kirk and Windy. Mushasha, are you using the Captain Kirk call sign?
Yes, because there is no Musashi available in FS Cloud, so somebody else is taking it. So.
No. I'm not questioning that. I just want to know if I identify you correctly.
Yes, I am.
Excellent.
Zibo Kirk.
Okay, cool.
Okay, engine one started.
20.
Okay, the cabin is
If you
secure.
believe it or
Full
not.
flight.
Nou ry jy dwars deur my.
Ek was klaar daar.
Ek het jou nie gesien nie. Toe ek teruggekyk het, was jy nog ver agter my gewees.
Toe ek agter kyk, toe sê jy agter my.
Okay.
Dis FS Cloud.
Ja. Silly Billy. Alright, no worries. Hoekom stop jy nou daar? Max, you can try the copy first, okay? The copy should work, but you know what? It's a 5-second difference in the whole process. So, you know what? You might as well start from the beginning. But there's no reason why you can't just copy the folder. I've got 2 versions of Explain running here, the Vulcan and the normal one. And when I move them, I just, you know, literally copy them. You know, there's no reason it shouldn't work. Obviously, in the new system, it's going to detect the new, what do we call it, installation, and it's going to detect the new Navigraph and the airport list and all these things. So, depending on your settings, just at least go through your tablet settings and set your aircraft up, because remember now, unless you copy all the liveries and all the files that are in your Explain root folder as well, a lot of settings are going to be missing in the new installation. So, you know, just be what's the right English word now? Just know about it, so that if you go into it the first time, that you just check all the settings and just run through it, make sure it works. Day, don't worry. And hello, Amar. Swifty, that's fine. I see you gotta go. That's fine. Come back later if you can. I didn't see the old short for this runway. Where on earth is the old short? Oh, there it is at the back. I just went over it. Oops. Okay, so Anthony, you are on your way, right?
I'm on my way. Turning out left.
Yeah, Hakan, the life of the party, the court jester. He'll be back soon. And then, yeah, we'll take it up with him again to make us all laugh and smile. Dada, yeah, I'm going to take off in about, I would say, another 2 minutes. Let me get my timer on there. Amar, yes, I do use XPUIPC. The client for the VA, this little thing, needs to use XPUIPC to chat with the server so that I can log my flights. I'm going to just taxi into position and hold.
Alright, I'm taxiing to the holding point.
Approaching 10.
Got at least another minute to hold.
On runway 10.
I can see you're on your way. There we go. Mushashi.
Yes,
You,
I'm
slow
at
down.
Where are you from?
Turkey.
Turkey.
Istanbul.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Enjoy, Krister.
Ooh, Krista, Saturday drink special.
She's got plans, eh? Watch out. Sounds like a very nice wife, that. Let's get going. Let's cancel this. I'm going to take off, guys. Get those engines spooling and stable, and toga.
On runway 10.
Well, my simulator just crashed 4 hours into a flight.
No.
Oh no.
Check your log, check your log. You need to fix that. Hello, Cor. Taza, good afternoon.
80 knots.
I think it was SkyMax Pro that did it.
V1, rotate.
Ouch.
Positive rate.
And gear up.
Lining up.
400.
Command A, and enough of that fuel. There we go.
1000.
Cor, don't let it get to you, my friend. Just get back on the bicycle. Try again, you know. Look at the scenery. Isn't this awesome?
Rolling.
You're supposed to wait at least 2 minutes. Otherwise, you're going to have to maneuver around me on the other side because that's a bit short. We'll work something out, don't worry about it. We'll work something
Okay, hold
out.
on. Oh no, crashed again.
What?
Vamos.
Explain.
Yes, it is.
Damn it.
Crash reporter. Application has crashed. A report has been automatically generated.
Okay, so that's a Vulcan issue. Probably some explanation.
Yes.
I'm not updating. I'm staying where I am. They need to fix this Vulcan now.
Yeah.
Bum.
Yeah, that's why you guys see me flying X-Plane 1141 so much. I've had enough of the crashes. That instability is really not good.
Yeah, I'm rolling back then.
Okay.
Apparently, I haven't had any crash on the. I'm on the Vulcan, and I'm using FS Cloud, but I haven't updated to the latest X-Plane beta.
Yeah, no, stay there where you are.
Yeah.
Same here.
I am on beta 16. Oh,
Yeah, my beta 16 also keeps on crashing.
vamos. Oh,
Yeah, I was on 41.
What, Jordan? You was on 41 when you crashed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Damn.
okay, I give up. I'm following you on Discord then.
Okay.
Couple of quick questions. Why Sim Toolkit Pro doesn't follow my aircraft? You know, I just when I opened it up, it showed me Tampa. You know, where we fly last time.
I don't know. I cannot say. At the very bottom, let me bring it on the screen for you. At the very bottom, there is a little button. You see there, it's got like little arrows. Reset simulator connection. You might want to just click that, see if it reconnects. And then see if it follows you then.
Idle CPU cycle. Reset simulator connection. Yeah.
Kumda, good day, good day. Please remind me about the ILS when we get to Stansted. It's going to take an hour or so to get there. Hour and 3/4, I think. But then we can talk through it. It won't be that much of a pressure like we had last night. So some of the other guys here have also asked me to talk through the whole setup of the ILS and the approach and everything. So you're in good company.
And the blue indicators, you know, the gauge.
Yeah, the blue indicators, yeah, for the hardware.
Yes, thanks.
That one and that one.
I'll connect on Discord.
Amar, yeah, the guys have said Iveo. I spoke to one of the top directors of Iveo. He says they are aware of the Iveo issue and they will attend to it in the next couple of days. The M thing, unfortunately, is not for them. That's for Laminar to fix that. And yeah, Steve, it should. If you close your SDKP and open it back up, it also should reset it. That is true. Jordan,
Yeah.
I like that stuff you sent me now. I just want to reiterate. Firstly, I don't know exactly when I fly, so it's good to have a roster, but I can't commit to it, you know, as such, which means that some of you will obviously then fly without me, kind of a thing. If you don't mind, I don't mind. That's the one thing. The other thing is I can easily make it and share it with you, you know, and then we can do something about it, so the guys can prepare better then. I'm going to toy with it in my mind a little bit, but I think we can do something like that.
Cool. Yeah, I just thought it might give you an idea. It didn't have to be exactly like that, but puts us in the right direction.
Yeah. Oh, this is a nice sit. Takes you out over the waters and no noise abatement procedure required. There's no aunties with curlers in the hair, you know. Unda, I'm using SkyMax Pro to give me the clouds and the atmospheric depiction.
Isn't Active Sky better?
Active Sky is still running. Let me show you guys how it works. I'm gonna put it on the screen here for you guys. Sorry, wrong button. Right, so there's Active Sky. Alright, Active Sky is the weather engine. It actually reads the METAR and then sends the data to the explain METAR file as usual. But you go into options and you go to your depiction options. You see there it says use SkyMax Pro depiction mode. When enabled, weather output from ASXP will be modified to integrate with SkyMax Pro for better visuals with increased cloud layers, blah 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 blah. Okay, So that's obviously on. Alright. Then what happens is I also have, that's obviously SkyMax Pro, so you can do your cloud configurations and stuff. But then I also have the real world weather connector, and this actually smooths everything out for me then at the end of the day. So the three products work together where SkyMax Pro gives me my color in the sky, the actual textures for the clouds, and then it interfaces with that real world weather connector, you know, with Active Sky to put the clouds in the correct place, so to speak. So it's a whole mishmash of things, you know.
It looks complex,
but it works nice. It really works nice. And what I like about Active Sky is it actually has annual clouds. It's got the towering cumulus clouds that you can actually identify. It depicts the rain as we would see it in the real world, you know, as it is approaching, for instance. And then at night, your landing lights actually illuminate these clouds. So if you're flying like we had when we flew in here, or actually it was when we were flying into Cyprus the other night, it was coming in over the water, so it's pitch dark black, you've got a little bit of stars, and every now and then you hit a cloud and then it just lights up in front of you. It just looks magic.
Yeah, it's a great app.
Looks like snow on the mountains.
Yeah, probably. Mike, Derek, sorry man, sorry, but we didn't have much of a pre-flight. We were talking about all kinds of funny things, so if you've got questions, just shoot them. We'll talk through them. It's a long flight, so unless you guys, I beg your pardon, I'm yawning, I'm tired. Unless you guys keep me awake, I am gonna fall asleep. I hope I mute the mic before I start snoring, but you know. I didn't have a good rest last night for some reason. From 2 a.m. local time until about, I think it was about 9 a.m. I was wide awake. So then I had about an hour, maybe just off, just maybe a little bit closer to 2 hours, and then my wife found her car got stuck next to the road, and then I had to get up and go and sort her out and get the tow truck and, you know, all the nice things you want on a Saturday morning. Yeah, Jordan will sing a song.
Oh, I'm not the Harkin replacement.
Christer, grab your guitar, my friend. When you come back, after your drink, bring your guitar. Come play us a song. Just make it one of your own songs so we don't get a copyright infringement. Otherwise, rather leave it, you know. That's what Google down on next. Gazda dude, replay the beginning of this video. It's in PVR mode, so you can just pull your slider back. Go watch the beginning. I gave the full description of how to get the flight plan in there. You need little nav map, and then you need to put your flight plan in little nav map and then save the tile basically, and then import it into your Avi tab. But it's in the beginning of the stream. You can just pull it back. Sorry, I said Gazda dude. It was actually Mike who asked. Sorry about that. But Gazda dude, welcome. You're welcome. So Mike, yeah, just rewind a little bit and have a look. It's all there. The whole of last weekend, almost every single one, I did it like 6 times, 6 streams last weekend. All of them also had the whole recipe in there. But it's nice, I really like it, it's awesome.
Do you have any idea why my better pushback keeps disappearing, you know?
No idea. Really, I don't.
Have you paid your airport subscription fees?
Let me check that with my accountant, you know. I assume so.
Christer, what you showed me the other day was good enough, my friend. I can't play the guitar, so anything better than me is better. Caster, dude, that sounds good. Loving the videos, thank you. And you got your Explain and Logitech 3D Pro. Alright, well, then you can join us. Then everything is fine. Eh? Right, getting into ortho areas now. Also easy.
Time to keep Nico awake.
Yeah, let's bombard him with some questions.
1,000 to go.
Nico, how do I stop my X-plane from crashing? It's terrible.
Well, we need to find out what it is that's causing the crash. What do you know? What is the story?
So last night I flew on Vulcan, and I crashed while I was sleeping. Because it was an 11-hour flight, I figured I'd get some rest. And then this morning, it was on 11:41, and on both, the error log, the last entry is SkyMax. It doesn't recognize the sim crashing. It was just SkyMax parsing clouds or something.
Okay, no,
like
but
that.
then you need to go look at your Windows event viewer.
Going there now.
Nico, is there a way you can keep, the charts on the Navigraph? Because, there's this one annoying thing. Like every time, you're trying to, pin your charts. They come in different orientation, like zoom, different zoom, and like every time I I switched back to another chart. It said that I've zoomed out too small.
Yeah.
And if I
No,
try to correct
not on
it, it's...
Avitab. Not that I know of in Avitab. That's why I keep my Avitab, my Navigraph open in SDKP on the other screen.
NVIDIA OpenGL driver error.
There you go. So it's not even explain it's crashing. Captain Olaf, welcome buddy, long time no see. Krister, don't break yourself, man. If you can't, you can't. It was just a thought at the time, you know. You are flying the A319. Okay, I see. Yes, I have flown the Airbus. Due to the work I do with Zibo, it doesn't really come up in my mind right now. But I've got the dollars. I've also got the jar design. I've also got the flight factor, and I do fly them once or twice a year. Gasta did not VOR specifically, but I mean you can see how I do my takeoffs and landings in every stream I do. I've done circuit training videos and stuff. If you look at the YouTube page, just scroll down a little bit, they are under certain headings, so just go look for them. There's Krister.
Is it too loud?
No, I'll manage your volume. Go for it.
How's that?
That was awesome.
What?
That was awesome.
It was great?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's one of the things I'm practicing on.
Thank you, Krister.
Yeah. It's a kind of, what do you call it? Rock and roll blues. Sort of.
Yeah, it was nice. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So that's one of the things I'm practicing on.
Good. No, that's good.
Yeah.
Right. Do you know what that means? When you come and join Nico's Discord, you're gonna have to teach everyone how to play the music. That's the rules.
Ah.
It's including. It's including.
Okay.
It's including. Nico has a wish list for songs, and we all in the Discord. We have to practice to make it.
Something's tripping my machine up. There it goes again. Oh, what on earth was loading there? Something was loading. Fly boozed. Ooh, that guy had a few.
But when I do this practice, I also play for all the neighbors around the house.
Okay.
It's quite funny though. Sometimes they come around with a beer, or sometimes they put up their hands and want me to stop.
I'm sure all the ladies, they'll come with all the cookies, you know, and ask, you know, if they can make you a cup of tea or coffee.
No, it's not the ladies I have a problem with. It's their husbands. Yeah, it's funny.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
And she. Come, Reggie, she.
Dallas.
Well, it's taken a long time to install and load. It's taken about 2.5 hours to install X-Plane.
Okay.
So it's slow but sure. I've had to create the shortcuts because of the extra drives in its Windows. So I'm on a learning curve with that. I had a quick fiddle with it. The frame rates look brilliant, but just the serious stuff was as it came when I started X-Plane, but I've turned the settings up, so that's good looking. Or looking good. But a long way to go yet. It's a major chore. Get the Zibo in there. I'll just transfer that from the Max onto a drive and put stuff in that way. But it's going to be a little while yet.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you know what it's like when you, well, especially you, because if you multiply by a couple of thousand is what you do. And it's you just want it to be done, really, don't you? But it don't work like that. So the next thing is the Zibo, then FS Cloud probably. I'll put that in. With a Navigraph, Nico, will I have to put that in the D drive with X-Plane?
You can put it anywhere. It will obviously ask you for the path at some point in time. For the sim link, because you need to set up the sim link, and then also that downloader, if there's that manager, navigational manager thing that does the installation every month, that needs to know all the paths. So you just need to read, you know, it depends on which side of things you're talking about. The desktop charts don't need to know where Explain is, I think, but just read. I mean, it's all going to be there.
Yeah, it's just that one question, really. Yeah, but I've got the others, everything on the Mac, of course, but I've got to download them for Windows now. I presume they're different for the two.
Yeah, no, each operating system's got its own little programs.
Right, so I won't drive you mad with it. I'll go on to the next stage.
Okay, but I see I've got 343 nautical miles to go. So I'm going to go find some peanuts and raisins and some cold drink or something. I'll be back in 5 minutes, guys.
You can ask Nico, ask your wife to make a drink for you.
Ah, no, she's busy, and with her car breaking this morning, she's not in a good mood, so there's no point in asking her and giving her more stress. So let me go help myself. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm leaving your voices open on stream, so be careful.
Okay.
So I have to play more music now, though.
It's in your hands, my friend. Take it away.
It's literally in your hands.
More blues, Krista. Blues.
More blues. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking. Well, I need a coffee first, okay?
Okay. I'll wait. It's a long way to go yet, 300 odd miles. I'll go back to this and try and download a bit more. I think I'll have a cup of tea, actually. I've been sat here for ages. So I think I'll do the same. Okay, I'll leave you to it and speak a bit later.
Yeah. See you later, yeah. But now we have 20 likes on this stream, so I'm happy.
Yeah, it's good. Mm. 21 now.
Oh, great. Thank you. I'll be back in a second.
And to me. Bye.
So I'm back, guys.
Welcome back.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, George.
Right, guys, I'm back. Hello, George. I think I just got the last packet of peanuts and raisins. I'm gonna have to go buy more. It's always a nice snack.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Hello.
Good. I want a bit of cycling. I actually know how to do it because I'm still learning how to ride the bike, and my dad didn't help me at all, just a little bit. I just pushed off by myself.
Nice. That's nice. Right, guys, so I'm sitting here thinking about this approach and stuff. The guys who asked for the approach guidance, well, I think we might as well start with a couple of pieces of information. First thing I want to do is go and check where is that MMR thing again. Oh, I can never remember offhand. Oh, there we go. Alright. So when we talk about approach and ILS specifically, you're going to use your nav radios, and depending on the selection of your radio in the tablet, you're either going to have the multi-mode receiver, or which is this one, with all the buttons, or you're going to have your normal nav radio, and you can switch it on the multi-mode receiver on and off. And if you go back there now, you can see this is your old style navigational equipment. So it all depends on your carrier, it all depends on you which one you want to simulate. This one you can do your normal navigational approaches like the ILS and the VOR stuff. You can also do EN with this to a certain extent, but if you go to the MMR, you can then add your GLS, EGNOS, WAS, and all these other fancy approaches that you simply cannot do with this equipment. The MMR, by the way, is obviously new technology. It came standard, as far as I know, with the Max, when the Max was in production, and I suppose in a couple of NGs also got them, the 800s. So anyway, we have the option. Our next port of call to do this whole approach thing is going to be Navigraph and the actual chart. There's a couple of things we need to do here and get from here. Let's start at the top. The first thing we need to do is we need to take the localizer frequency and we need to add that into the Zibo, into our nav radio, and we need to dial in the final approach course. Now for those of you that do have Navigraph or any other Bayware nav data, you'll know that this approach course that is on the chart is not necessarily the one that X-Plane and the Zibo uses because of the old data that is included in X-Plane. So the compromise that Zibo makes will bring it closer, but it might not be exact, so just remember that. The next thing that we need to look out for at this point in time is we need to know what the airport elevation is. That's just something I always keep in my mind. Something that we're definitely going to need is the transition altitude, which is over there. Sometimes it's also published more in this area, but trans-alt is trans-alt. That's your transition altitude. You need to know what it is. Another thing that you need to know is what's your go-around altitude. Alright, that's something that you also need to set at some point in time. Coming down here, we need to look for our final approach fix, which is this one, and it normally shows in that Maltese cross-like structure, and you can see we need to descend to 2,500 feet to intercept our ILS. So our final approach fix altitude is 2,500. That is what we're going to enter into our MCP when we prepare for the descent shortly. Then, depending on the weather, we start reading from Cat 1, then we go to Cat 2, then we go to Cat 3 when we're talking ILS. Our decision altitude for Cat 1 is 548 feet. That is above mean sea level. Right, so it's not above ground, it's above mean sea level. The 200 feet there is your height. That is the actual altitude above the ground that you're going to be when you reach 548 above sea level. We also need to look at the weather and see our required visual minimum is we need to see the runway within 550 meters. If we do not have 550 meters, this is an illegal landing. You can't do that. Cat 2, you'll see the required visual minimum is now 300, and Cat 3A is 200. So obviously the worse the weather gets, the less the visibility is. Will up the ante a bit, will increase the game, and we're going to, you know, then rather do the Cat 3A landing instead of Cat 2 or Cat 1. Right, the decision heights, when you talk about decision altitude, it's always on the barrow setting. You need to use the barometer. When you see RA, it means a radio altimeter or radio altitude. Let's not split hairs about that, but that's where you tune your EFIS to radio, and your height will then be 101. If you stick to barrow, your height will be 448. Right, on Cat 3A, this is a radio altimeter setting anyway, so you go for 50 feet above the ground, which is 50 feet on the radio. And that's about it. So we're going to now start inputting this information into the system. So I'm going to try and keep it on the screen as much as possible, you know, to allow you guys to read with. So we're going to start with 110.5, which is the localizer. So we're going to find that nav radio, and we're going to tune 110.50. So that is now in place. Then we're going to just, for the interim, we're going to check it later, but for the interim we are going to stick to the final approach course on the chart, 223. We're going to dial in 223 over here. Right, then what we're going to do is we're going to also check up on our weather. I'll bring that on screen just now. Alright, so in STKP, I just click on the weather for our destination. There you can see 1006. In the active sky side of things, you can also see there 1006. So what we're going to do is we're going to tune in 1006 over there and have it on standby. So that's now 1006 on standby. Now if we go back to Navigraph, our decision altitude there, our decision altitude is 548. What we're going to do is tune in 548 on the Barrow. Right, so as you can see there, we've got the 548 tuned in now, but if you're going to watch Flight Deck to Sim or any of the other pilots, they usually tell you add 50 feet or something just to make sure you do not bust that. If you watch me fly, I never bust that anyway. You guys can either use this method of mine or you can use the other guy's method. It's entirely up to you. As long as you don't go below that. That is a point that you should never go below without being committed to landing. So just be aware of that. You can add your 50 if that makes you feel better, by all means. Right, the next thing that we want to do is we want to go back to our MMR to show you how it works with that one. So I've shown you how to just turn the knob there to get the correct frequency. If we go back to the chart there, it's 110.50, so that's now active. That's for the ILS. But let's go back to the MMR and tune it in on the other side. So what we need to do is make sure we've got an ILS in the bottom row, and then all we do is 110.5. You don't have to put the 0 at the end. It's intelligent enough to know that, but for our purposes, let's just put it in there. 11050, 11050 both sides. So instead of turning a knob, we just punch it in, and then obviously we have to flick it over to make it active. Hey George, thank you so much, appreciate it. Then what do we need to do? Just want to quickly see, there is no VOR that we are able to use if we really wanted to. There's no one at the airport there, but if we want to, we can obviously use 11625, 11625, just as a guide, just to fly in and out of that area where we're going to make our fancy turn and come back. Almost cook sister, eh, Christer? So we can use that if we really want to. If we want to see the VOR, we're obviously going to have to enable it, make sure that it is active there. Christer, yeah, if you come from the east, there is a holding pattern that you need to go into, and you need to then do the descent in the hold to get down to your relevant altitude. This one coming from this side does not include that holding pattern at all, so we're glad we don't have to waste time on that. Alright, the next thing that we want to do is just get off this screen and just go back down, just for interest's sake. The next thing what we want to do is to complete the primary flight display setup, and we need to then go and we're going to look at our FMC. So I always just take a quick look. That's about 40 nautical miles away. Then we will be at TRO. Okay, it says 44 nautical miles specifically. So I'm just going to make a wild guess at this point in time. So if we look at where we will be at TRO, we will have 5.3 tons of fuel. At EGSS, it's estimated at 3.8. So I'm not even going to try and be clever. I'm just going to take a calculator. Right, so 5.3 less 3.8. That means 1.5 tons of fuel needs to be subtracted in order to get a fairly reasonable landing VREF. So if we go to our INET page, we're going to take 62 1.7, and we're going to subtract the 1.5, so that will give us 61.2 tons to land. That's going to be the gross weight to land, and that will give us a reasonably correct VREF speed there. So we're going to land flaps 30. Hello Mr. Casey, middag. Hello. Alright, so that takes care of that. If we go and we look at our PFD now, this is what I would consider as being complete. We've got VREF, we've got the minimum or decision altitude, and we've got the standby altimeter set already. Then, what's very important is if you take off and you pass through your transition altitude, this number that was there would turn to yellow, and you know from when it turns yellow and that box comes around that you have to click on the standard button, right? But now we need to make that thing going down to turn yellow again, passing that transition altitude, and that is done on our descent page. So let's do this. Let's get our STKB back online. I'm just gonna quickly grab the information from here. So what we are looking for is the forecast. Let's go to our forecast page. So we clicked on descent and then forecast, and then we're going to find the winds and stuff quickly for ourselves. Right, so our descent winds, we're going to use the last three lines on the right hand side. We're going to use flight level 200, 150. This is a SimBrief standard thing. Active Sky works on different levels, but let's use this one for now, because most of you have this. So there we go. And then we can add our winds to 26 at 44 and 231. 7 and 236 and 23, so that takes care of our descent winds. If we look at STKP, it doesn't give us an ISA deviation at this point in time, so we're going to skip that, not the end of the world. But we need to put / to get our QNH, and the QNH is very important for determining where the top of descent is going to be. It does matter in the Zibo, it actually takes it into account. So we're going to enter 1006. We're going to plonk it in there, and if you guys can remember on Navigraph we said the transition altitude is 6,000, so we need to go type flight level 060, put it in there, and then we can execute it. So in this line there we are telling our primary flight display, thank you Krister, much appreciated. We are telling our primary flight display that once we pass 6,000 the standard needs to turn yellow, prompting you to press the standard button so that your standby altimeter then becomes active. And now you guys didn't see it because I didn't take the STKP away, sorry about that. Okay, so as you can see there, flight level 060, once you pass that, standard will turn yellow, and then you are going to click the standard button, and it will then take the standby altimeter and make it active in green. So that's how that works, and that's it for now. Then what we still need to do is we need to quickly go back there, and we need to go and look at that value again. Our intercept altitude for the ILS is 2,500, and unless ATC directs you otherwise, that will be the point where you descend to. So we're going to dial that in, 2,500, and the aircraft will do the rest on the VNAV profile. And that's it. That is how we take care of our descent planning. I hope you guys like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Cool.
Right, the one thing we have not done is this performance calculations for the landing. In case you guys are interested, we're going to do 22. I'm just going to keep this thing open here. So we've got to do 0 at 7. And it's raining, it says right now. Outside air temperature is 19. QNH is that 1006 that we put in there. Damn, can't remember what I said that landing value was going to be. I see the values have changed anyway. 4 minus 62.5. Our landing calculations. So I'm going to use auto brake 3. I want to get off the runway quickly. Welcome, Krister. Haha, George, excellent. Yeah, I remember it was something like that. Anyway, I'm too tired to hold myself clever here. No point in faking it till we make it. We just use a calculator and just redid it. So anyway, we're going to use auto brake 3. Get off the runway as soon as we can. Any of the other auto brakes is sufficient, so we don't mind. Alright, oh yes, this is the other thing. On this INET reference page, you can actually see our course heading should be 223, and believe it or not, in this instance it is. So we must just make that other one the same now. 223, 223, auto brake. Let's make it 3, we said. And that's it. I mean, now we are absolutely ready. The aircraft will descend on its own when it gets to the top of the descent, and it's going to fly the whole course until we get to the runway. So now we just need to worry about seatbelt signs and lights.
Finally, I'm taxiing to the runway.
That sounds good. Enjoy the flight.
Ciao,
Christer.
Giuliano.
Hello, Giuliano. Christer, yeah, the ATC will tell you what approach is active.
Ciao ragazzi.
Buongiorno.
Juliana. Not Juliana, sorry, Christer. The ATC, depending on how busy they are, center will advise you before they hand you off and over to approach. Otherwise, approach will definitely tell you. Now, approach will definitely come into play from at least 15,000 feet. So from 15,000 feet until the deck, you should have ample time to program whatever you need to do to do the approach. Yes, sir. Yeah, let the aircraft fly. The main thing is to have your MCP at the lower altitude, so the aircraft will actually descend at your top of descent that's creeping in there. Once it, that is done, it buys you enough time to do the rest. Max, you should be able to turn as there's a couple of settings in the EFB that might influence you, but you should still be able to turn. You should still be able to override the autopilot. VNAV is your vertical descent, that's up and down, so if anything is interfering, it could be your LNAV. So it's an interesting thing you've just mentioned now. Let's quickly do this. Okay, so at this point in time, I am physically moving my yoke. I'm pushing, I'm pulling, I'm physically manhandling it, okay? But it's not listening to me. So if you go to your settings, hardware, is it here? Here we go. Under your realism settings, your yoke movement, if this is set to off, this is typically what happens. I'm pushing, pulling, turning, nothing's going to happen, because any yoke movement while the autopilot is on is going to simply be ignored. Now if I put it on autopilot disconnect and I go do it, see, immediately my autopilot dives. It switches off immediately. So go check the setting, make sure. The other thing is, obviously you can have it on CWS. I never use that, so mine is always on off to prevent a sudden bump or something. You know, if I get up out of my chair to go make coffee and I don't hear the alarm go off, I'm going to pick up the aircraft on the ground when I come back. Cor, I don't know. It's something to do with this FS Cloud. Next time if you come onto FS Cloud, you must tell me what livery you have, and I can see if I can maybe match it, because you can manually match it, but automatic matching seems to be not working too well. So yeah, Christer, I've noticed that it's not a big thing. Max, I think you can. What I would do is I would switch off LNAV. Why don't we do it? Let's just quickly see. We put off LNAV. The LNAV is off. I think that setting is still interfering. Yeah. I don't ever try this. I don't ever play with things like this. So let's see. Oh, come now. Okay, you know what? No, just leave that. Just disconnect it. Okay, but that is also going to interfere with the altitude. That's definitely not what we want. That was now an interesting question. Let me think about that. Let me think how we can maybe help you, because it doesn't look like that is supported. Can I tell you something? My best advice right now, just thinking off the top of my head, is to use heading mode. Don't turn with the yoke. Use heading mode. So if you go to heading mode, you can turn. See, there the aircraft is going to turn. Yeah, and that's true, Christer. We don't use vertical speed unless an ATC forces us to use it. Nobody does. It's just easier using the VNAV. So I hope you saw what I did there. All you do is you enable heading mode, and then you turn the knob where you want to be, where you want to go to, and then obviously the aircraft will follow it. Then you've got your VNAV, you'll stop at whatever altitude is mentioned there, and you can then turn left, right, center. Hello Graham, welcome to this family. Max? Instead of using VNAV, use level change or something to that, or use speed. If you use level change, it will keep to your MCP level, and you can then also use this knob to set your speed. You're welcome. And top of descent is coming, 72 nautical miles.
Nico, I've got a question. Right, I'm on the seat, right? And there's sort of like some height restrictions, like you have to be above 4,500, 5,500. I set my altitude to 40,000, and it won't climb. I don't know why.
The only way to force it is to press the altitude intervention button next to your heading knob. Not heading.
Yeah,
altitude knob. Then it will. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I had to do the altitude intervene in the end, but it was not climbing. I don't know why. But usually it does.
Don't know. Can't tell you. I didn't see it.
No worries.
Christian, he's looking for whiskey. But there is Anthony ahead of me. Got your visual, Anthony? While I'm sitting thinking of it, let's quickly go find this other setting as well. If you guys go to the visual effects page, this one, in your settings, I think it's here. If it's not here, we'll find it. It's not here. Wow. Okay, take it easy, take it easy. I'm skipping too many pages. Let's start from the beginning. I'll find it and then I'll tell you what I'm on about. There it is. It is under visual effects. I just missed it earlier. If you go to your visual effects and you have hardware throttle on ACAS, that's what we're looking for. It's going to give you this. See these little blue triangles? That is your hardware throttle. So if I move my throttles now, you see it's moving. Alright, so that's very important for me when I come into land. I know my landing N1, the approach N1, is going to be roughly about 60%. And you'll see when I go to flaps 30 and I'm on that approach, it's going to be roughly there, but it might be a little bit off. So all I do is I just make mini movements and I match the white line like so, you know, just in the correct position. So I would put those blue triangles right on the white line and then at 1000 feet I would disconnect my auto throttle, and because the aircraft at that point in time should already be stable, and if you set up the Zibo properly and the calibration is done properly, your hardware throttles will not change the throttles. Okay, so these levers, these ones will not move. It will be in position as it should be, which will maintain your stable speed. You just need to obviously alter it if it does change, so just keep your eyes on it. But it's, you know, unless you have severe winds or something, nothing's really going to change. Alright, so once you've matched that and you've disconnected at about 1000 feet, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less, the only other thing you need to worry about is when just before you get to your decision altitude, to disconnect your autopilot, and then you literally fly that last 250, 300 feet. You just go and land easy. Another thing which I will talk with you is when we get to the flap speeds. A lot of guys are unsure about it or do not know about it, but the flap speeds are actually listed here on the side, and I'll show you when to pull which flap. And while we are speaking of it, we can quickly go get our FAF and put up a fix for that as well. So let's go to our legs page. Legs page. So our final approach fix is FF22, and what you can do is you just click on that FF22, puts it in the scratch pad. Then we're going to bring it to our fix page, insert it into the fix page, and then we've got a simple rule: 7 nautical miles, 5 nautical miles, and 3 nautical miles. You can go one page on, and then you can just type FF22 again, just to put it in the top there, and then you can go 1 mile. So 1 mile from the final approach fix, you'll have your last circle, and from there on it's also an easy way of keeping score of when you actually need to put your flaps out. So if we go zoom in a little bit, next page. See there, we've got the rings. If you get your first ring, that's flaps 1. Second ring is flaps 5. Your third ring is a gear down, flaps 15. And the last ring, within 1 mile of the final approach fix, you need to have your stabilized landing configuration, so flaps 30 or 40. Gear must be down, speed brake stowed, all these kind of things. So once you hit the FAF, you know that you are ready to land without any hassle, because when things go wrong at that last minute of flight, they really go very wrong. So it's better to be prepared for that.
Right, Nico, can I just rewind you a little bit? There's a bit I missed. I was busy flight planning. There's a bit I need to ask about, like calculating the gross, I think the gross weight about your landing. How you calculate? Yeah, the remaining, something like that.
Okay, it's easy. So you look at where you are at. We've just passed Sosan, right? So it tells you there we've just passed it. There we've got 4.5 tons of fuel. Right. When we're going to land, we will have 3.9. So you work out, you calculate the difference between those two. Alright. Then
okay.
You take the difference to your INET reference page and you subtract it from that value. That will give you different VREF speeds, and you then select your VREF speed accordingly. We want flaps 30, so we double click that one. But it all comes from here, because the only thing you're going to lose between here and Stansted is just the fuel, and that weight obviously is going to determine the VREFs.
Right, okay, I got you. Right.
Okay. So that means just by looking at it quickly, it means we're going to be 60 tons in gross weight. There we go. 60 tons in gross weight. You see there.
Yeah, I can see that. Yes.
So now we just double clicked on our 42. Right, but now the winds, here's another trick. Let me just show you this as well. Where's this STKP? The wind is actually 17 knots. Okay, so anything above 10 knots you actually need to compensate for. So we usually take the 7 divided by 2. In this case it's an odd kind of a value, so let's make it an 8. So we add 4. Which means that if we look over here, we can say 5 plus the 4, that gives 9. So we can actually add the 9 in there. In my planning, if I go back to the planning, I had 8. What am I doing? Come on. Okay,
right,
so,
okay.
So if I go back to my descent planning, you see that I had 8. But now that we've calculated it, it should be 9. Okay, so if you put 9 in there, you now look at the graph. It's not much different, it's 1 knot. But the fact of the matter is, what's going to happen now, if you start the descent and you follow, if you start the approach and you follow the correct flap speeds and things, okay, if you are stabilized before that 1 nautical mile before the final approach fix, you never have to change your speed over here. It will be done automatically, and you will see this bug, that bug over there, is going to sit at 150, because you see currently it's now 142. What did we say?
Okay,
we add 9, right? So it's going to be 151. So that bug will automatically go and sit at 151. If by any or for any reason you were not fully configured before the FAF, your speed will bug out, and you will then be responsible for bugging down the speed to the VREF plus 9, which we've got there, right? And you will then manually have to set it at 151. That's all.
Right, okay.
So if you do it,
for the explanation.
Yeah, if you do it there and you do it in time, it's automatic. Otherwise, you just need to match it manually.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Nico, I got a quick question as well regarding those blue indicators. So when you engage those indicators, you mean that when you move with your toggle levers at your joysticks or whatever, they don't actually command to the engines, right? You just see them, the indicators where they stop.
Yes, the only time it will have an influence. Look at my primary flight display. Do you see it says ARM? Do you see there? Look at the flight display. It says ARM.
Okay.
Do you see that?
On the top left corner, right?
Yes. Yeah. Do you see it?
Okay.
Right. The moment you see that word ARM, it means that if I move the levers now, they will move, because that is giving me, as the pilot in command, the opportunity to intervene when it goes into ARM. When it's a green thing and it says like VNAV path or something, it means the computer is in control. When it's white and it says armed, it means I'm in control.
Okay.
So look, if I move my throttles now, you see they move. See? They actually move. This is to allow you, I'll tell you something else just now, then you'll understand probably better. This is to allow you to speed up. Do you see my V speed according to VNAV is below my target speed? Do you see? I'm at 246 and that is at more than 250. You see that? So technically I can increase my speed to keep the VNAV path speed if I need to, It's my privilege to make the decision whether I want to or not. I don't care for it, so I just leave it in idle. The computer code is of such that they allow you 5, 10 or 15% deviation in speed, and depending on the firmware in your FMC and in the system that is used, that will obviously be set to either 5, 10 or 15% of speed. Right? It will then once it reaches that threshold, it will automatically switch there to VNAV path or whatever it will tell you at that point in time. It will then automatically increase the thrust to make you not stall or go too slow and lose your VNAV path because you're too slow again. You understand? But that's the only time when, if you move the throttles, it will interfere. As long as that is green, you can move your throttles any which way you want. It will not make any difference. I hope that makes sense. Data, are you talking about the range rings specifically? I think you are, so I'm going to quickly go grab it again. So what you're looking for is the runway, and then the final approach fix before the runway, which is FF22. So we're going to click on it, put it in the scratch pad, and then go to fix, and then we're going to put it in there. Okay, so we put it at the top. It obviously knows what we're talking about. Then we're going to use the / symbol, and we're going to say 7, 5 and 3. And what that gives us is then the range rings at 7 nautical miles, 5 nautical miles, 3 nautical miles. And that's just a visual cue to help you, discern when you need to pull flaps. Obviously, you need to have the correct flap speed to pull the flap, because in the Zibo, for instance, you can break your flaps. Hello, Albapino. Welcome to the stream, coming to you live from South Africa. Dada, I hope that's good enough for you. Now, if you guys do everything I told you now, you're as good as almost landed, because everything is just automated. Sometimes in some of the approaches you have to go to your legs page and you have to physically check speed and altitude, and there's a whole bunch of things that you need to do, but these are things that you learn in time. Don't break your head about it now. Are you guys okay here on Discord?
Yes, thank you, Nico. Very good. Excellent.
Yep. Excellent.
I'm on final myself.
Good.
Eyes and ears on you.
Yeah, that's good. I see we're grabbing nicely.
I'd like to see if Active Sky is going to depict the correct weather, because right now, it's grey skies. It's raining in England.
Yeah.
So I want to see if it's going to be true.
Well, here is STKP. So let me show you. There it says 230 at 16. It's changed slightly. Visibility 7,000 meters. We do have rain and a lot of fog. Look there, a lot of fog and broken clouds. There is a CB as well. Okay. We'll see, my friend, we'll see.
Because I'm literally about like 15 minutes away from London City Airport, Echo Golf, EGLC. So what does your windy say? Like your windy app? What does it say? What does it depict right now?
What do you mean windy app? Are you talking about the windy app?
Yeah, the windy app, the one you showed us last time.
There's the rain. So they're by London. That's EGLC pulsing over there. So it's more to the west. It's a little bit on that side. We might actually miss it, kind of. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm not too familiar with the area. I'm not sure where Stansted is exactly. It's somewhere here, I think.
Right, I would say Stansted from there. It's literally just, you see where Cambridge is? Cambridge. Yeah, Cambridge, just underneath Cambridge, somewhere thereabout. That's where Stansted is.
Is it? Okay. Okay. Well, we shall see just now. I just did a new search on EGSS. There it actually shows me.
All right, okay.
Helps if you just use your mind sometimes, you know. Oh, let me just sign in again. ASCII for Quebec. Oh, did your sim crash? Anthony? Here's an interesting question for you guys. Who knows what that triangle there is on your Indy? Anybody on stream or Discord, do if you know what that triangle is.
The nose heading.
Ah, I should have known you know. Yeah, that's the nose. So if you look at the track heading and the nose heading, that deviation, that is the amount of crabbing that we are doing right now. We're literally flying with our nose pointed left while we're moving to the right.
Yeah, it's because it's compensating for that 42-degree wind, right?
Exactly. Clever, eh?
I never knew that.
Now you do.
I learn something every day.
Yep.
And all this because of the wind, isn't it?
Yes. There is a little friend.
I use it when ATC tells me to turn different degrees. So I use the wind grabbing also. So I just don't turn the knob as for 120 degrees. It may just be 125 also, I don't know.
Yeah.
It depends on the winds.
Yep.
Nico, for your information, it's Stansted raining. I stay there.
Good.
But a chair come to you.
Good. I would love to land in the rain a bit.
So I'm done. I'm down.
Sounds good.
Yeah, quite good also. I'm happy.
Quite the active weather under you there, Nico. I was just looking at the weather on the virtual Ryanair website.
Yeah, it's raining a bit.
Any reason I cannot unlock the doors?
Yeah, you need to end your flight leg, and you need to have all the lights off, engines off, parking brake set.
Ah, Uncle John, how are you, sir? Oh, he's muted.
What am I doing? Turning it the wrong way.
Could you not believe this?
Hmm?
I've just reached my top of climb, and my FPS have dropped to 10. Great. And that's on Vulcan.
And if you look straight up or straight down, does it change?
If I try to look up and down, it's even going down to 9 FPS, 8 FPS, which is even worse.
Weird.
I don't even know why.
My FPS is terrible at this point in time as well, just FYI. I mean, I'm getting 17, 16, 18, 20. It's rubbish. But this is not Vulcan. Vulcan, at least it's a bit better for me. Just leave it at runway. Why do I change?
I wonder what that could be.
There are a couple of reasons. The guys have speculated for a long time. It's the particle effects. You know, it can be that, it can be clouds, it can be scenery, it can be a whole bunch of things. I am not that familiar with the inner workings, but the story about the particle effects being a problem at altitude seems plausible, because you've got a vast expanse of sky all of a sudden with all kinds of particles, and if you've got clouds and shadows and all kinds of particles related to the air, I mean, it all multiplies up there in the sky that you don't have when you are you know, down low. It kind of makes sense to me, but I don't know, that's just all hearsay. Anyway, gentlemen, let's start talking about this approach now. You guys would have seen that the standard went yellow when we got through our transition altitude. I clicked on my standard button, so now we have the standby altimeter set for us. I'm just going to check quickly that it is still correct. 1006 is still correct. Alright, the speed has now slowed down, so from here on we're going to keep our eyes now on our dashed line circles there, and then we're going to talk you guys through it. Remember, first circle is flaps 1, second one flaps 5, third one gear down flaps 15, and the last one is going to be landing configuration, and we're going to try and be stable before then. Good morning, Steel, I just see you there, welcome.
Well, at least your FPS is gone up now. It's 28, 27.
It usually does. It's like it goes through a layer somewhere and then it just increases again.
Or do you think it could be like active sky?
No, it happens without active sky as well. Gents, here we have the checklists. If you just go there, you can run through them. There's your approach, ILS, climb, cruise, landing, go around, after landing, shutdown, secure. You can use those checklists, or you can simply click here. There's another one that you can actually have a look at. So there's plenty of checklists, and if you want a more detailed one for training purposes, just go to my OneDrive and get the actual training checklist, because that's going to teach you how to use these ones. If you don't know how to use it, don't use these ones. Go get my training checklist. Guran, sorry, I only saw your message now. Damn, I missed what you were talking about, the page for RYR. Not sure what you're referring to, but let's see. Now we're too close for this one. Let's go grab our charts again. These are the charts for Stansted. That's where we are at, and we are going to turn around and come in on the ILS over there. Right, so we have reached our first circle. We're going to pull flaps 1. You'll see the speed bugs down. Hello. The speed bugs down, and the aircraft should also slowly but surely descend and slow down. If it doesn't, we're going to use our speed brake. And guys, don't let other people talk nonsense to you and tell you it's a lever of shame. If you have to pull it like now, you have to pull it. There's no two ways about it. If you don't fly the aircraft properly, then shame on you, not when you pull a lever to brake. Sorry, just helping, assisting it to slow down. Once we get to that waypoint over there, I'm going to pull flaps 5. It's close enough to our circle. Christer, that could also be recalculating shaders. Oh, it can be a lot of things. The other thing is a weather update. So it's not so much the weather display, but a weather update can also cause a great dip in FPS. Okay, I'll have to get you the web page afterwards. Let me just land and then we can go find that web page. I just got it. There you go. That's your web page. You see that, yeah, all kinds of extra things that happen. Right, we are slowly getting closer and closer. Once we hit that line, we're going to go gear down flaps 15. Typically better when you are kind of upright, not so much in a turn, but it's not the end of the world. And then what we will do is also make sure that we actually activate our approach button, and we have to click the approach button before it reaches that line, preferably somewhere there, not later than there.
1,000 to go.
Right, so I'm gonna go gear down flaps 5. Bloody hell, I completely forgot about 5. So we got to pull it 2 more, and there is our approach coming in now. So we see movement on the localizer as well as glide slope. Sorry guys, I forgot to pull the flaps at flaps 5. That was the previous circle. So this one is now gear down flaps 15, and the next one we'll make sure to get into landing configuration. You see, as we do it on schedule, we're not getting a bug out on our vertical speed. If that diamond goes through that circle, or it reaches this line, it's somewhere in there, it will bug out. So we need to make sure, like now, we're going to pull our final approach landing configuration of the flaps, which is flaps 30, and there you can see it's now put the speed at our VREF plus the 9 knots that we told it to. So there's a little bit of a gap between where it is and where VREF is, and that's the 9 knots that we told it to give us. See, and now it's bugged out. Now our speed is in our control. Right, so now we need to make sure that we have our go around altitude, which was 3000. It's in place. Alright, so now I'm going to wait for at least until I get the call out for 1000. You can see the radio altimeter there is calling 1100 now, going down. That line over there is also an indicator that it's safe to set up our go around altitude. Just FYI, there's our runway. Very foggy, eh? So we're going to continue.
approaching 2-2.
I was flying LNAV until I made the final turn, then I pressed the approach button, if that helps you. And right, so I'm gonna kick off my auto throttle. It was a bit later than usual, but okay, it's off.
400.
Now I'm waiting for my green line, which is my decision altitude, and just above it I'm going to disconnect the autopilot and just anchor into land. I'm matching quickly my throttles. You guys can see the little triangles on the white lines there. There goes the autopilot.
Minimums.
And now we're literally just flying it down.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Closing the throttles at about 20 feet. Holding, putting it down. Reverse thrusters and go full reverse. Oh, this wind.
Nice landing.
Thank you.
80 knots.
Alright, there we cancel our reverses, taking over with toe brakes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, to clean up, so we can just lift our flaps as well, get off the runway. Kuran, it's not a gauge, it's part of the broadcasting software. It's not something I see in my actual simulator. I mean, it's completely on a different screen running through the broadcasting software. Right, let's quickly park over here. It's good enough. Let us make sure we get rid of all of these things that we do not need. Landing lights, taxi light, nav lights, runway turn off lights, APU can start that process. That's done, we don't need you. We'll leave the heaters on a little bit. Right. Then let's just start our APU. Radar off, radar off. It was a little bit less than 60%. I don't keep it anywhere. I just match whatever the computer has calculated. So when that white line sits at 40 or 60 or 50 or whatever, I literally just move my little blue triangles to match the white line. So wherever the stable approach has been achieved, okay, and it is the work of the FMC to achieve that for us. Once that's done, we just match that speed and we let it ride it out. Jy is welkom, Mr. Casey. No, the rain effect is there. It's definitely there. I'm just not using ski. I'm using the Zibo rain effect for FPS because the ski is harsh. The ski can, depending on the weather, take firstly not show enough, and then secondly, once it starts showing, it takes a lot of FPS. See, and this kind of rain is typically, it's a rain, but it's not a lot of rain, and you won't see that on the radar. You need to have a proper amount of water to actually display on the radar. If you watch some of my other streams, you'll see when we fly through actual storms or over them, how that radar lights up. But this isn't a storm, this is just a lick and a promise. What do you mean, do I see Ryanair inside? Are you talking inside of the cabin? As in so? I don't have a Ryanair cabin, no. Okay, lucky man. This is the Audio Bird livery that comes with the Zibo Mod that I use. Elias from Ryanair added it to the roster, so when I fly I don't have to wait for the system to validate me or a person to come and validate me because of a livery. It's all done automatically, you see. The Flying Fox. Welcome, sir. See you later. Thanks for the visit. I've got it on auto albapino, so when they should be there, they are there. When they shouldn't be there, they're not there. I've never seen that, eh? Mine's always just there. Maybe you didn't start the flight leg on the tablet? Did you remember to do that? Yeah, no, then you got me. It's supposed to work. Thank you, Krister. Thanks for spending some time with us and playing us some nice music. That was really nice. Welcome to Stansted, everybody. Thank you for flying virtual Ryanair today. I hope you enjoyed the flight with us. Now I'm just logging my flight quickly.
$10 final.
I'm gonna look at you just now.
Nico, did you have any ISA deviation for
No.
Stansted on the STKP?
No.
So what do you put on the focus?
Next, what you do is you put the / and then the QNH, that's all.
Thank you very much.
Pressing the wrong button. Come on. Right, Anthony, we are ready for you, sir. Kent, hello. There is an aircraft. I'm not sure if that is you, Day. I don't see anybody else. There's Anthony. You're welcome, Ken. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. Always good to get good feedback. Okay, well then you won't see us, my friend, or us you. Yeah, that's part of the ambience. I think that comes with what's it? XP Realistic, sorry. Pleasure, Quran. Nice landing, Anthony. That was really a nice landing. Welcome.
Thanks. Lots of practice.
Oh, golly. That looks like a plane. Almost said catching fire, but I think maybe it's just an engine starting or something. I don't know. That was rough. Yeah, fun. Let's see. Nice effects. Wow.
Nice flight, Nico. Thanks very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Ah, that was nice. That was a nice landing.
If this cloud replays it.
Yeah, it does. Me and Hakan were playing aerial ballet the other night, Anthony. And we were taking turns and landing, one after another. It was so cool. So there we go. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you learned something. And please go and enjoy the Zibo mod. Much more to come, but at a later stage. I'm going to call it quits for this flight. Thanks. We'll talk again tomorrow.
Thank you very much for the education and the lovely flight.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.